Horse and Friends Radio with Conrad and Raphael.
Hey, I'm Conrad Nodden.
And I'm Raphael Valle, and from Nashville, Tennessee, you're listening to
The Horse and Friends Radio Show. Of the horse, for the horse, and by the horse lovers everywhere. Okay, Raphael, show number 21, all the way up there. We've, again, had such great guests. And this week is no exception. We're just continuing right along with Road to the Horse winners and natural horse trainers. And
winners of Equestrian Awards from Marty
absolutely.
Roberts.
And so this show, who do we have this show?
Well, another one of the great natural horsemanship trainers out there. It's going to be Richard Winters. And really excited about learning about his great natural horsemanship training techniques, about his background and his involvement with some projects he has, including the Thatcher School too. So a lot of we're looking forward to having Richard on the show.
Another winner with the Road to the Horse.
Road to the Horse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that. Let's hear a little from our sponsors.
This is Raphael, and I'm proud to say that we have been using Omega Horseshine on Ivory Pal and all of our horses since 2002. Omega Horseshine is made from stabilized whole ground flaxseed, is high in omega-3, and is all natural with no artificial preservatives. Omega Horseshine gives Ivory Pal a strong immune system, that shiny golden coat, and strong hooves that enables him to be barefoot and maintain his peak performance. Ivory Pal loves Omega Horseshine so much that he is the ambassador for this great product, and his pictures are on the Omega Horseshine bag. Omega Horseshine was named Product of the Year and Best in Nutrition by Horse Journal. Omega Horseshine is available at quality feed and tack stores nationwide. To order online or find a dealer near you, please visit www.omegafields.com.
3 years ago, Joan Miller embarked on a personal mission to build a better trooper saddle to provide her with more comfort and more contact with her Rocky Mountain saddle horse. A deep seat and a custom-designed front steel arch that would not hurt her hand in the event she needed to maintain a firm grip on the front arch while trail riding, these were must-haves. Joan named her newly designed trooper saddle after Robert Lawson. Robert and his wife have been strong supporters of Millersburg Saddle Company's efforts to design a trooper saddle that better suits the gaited horse, incorporating quality Amish craftsmanship, a truly American-made product. For further information and a nice chat with designer Joan Miller, call 330-674-0859 or visit her website at www.millersburgsaddle.com.
For over 12 years, the Dr. Cook Bitless Bridle has been making horses and riders happy around the world. This is the perfect alternative to using a bit. There are over 100,000 now in use in most all riding disciplines. With Dr. Cook's Bitless Bridle, communication is enhanced, trust is established, performance is improved, and harmony is achieved. Try the Bitless Bridle that started a revolution. For more information, call a toll-free number 866-235-0938 or visit them at www.bitlessbridle.com. That's www.bitlessbridle.com. Hi, this is Raphael for the Holistic Horse Products, a family-owned business. Recent scientific studies indicate that the traditional and chemical methods for deworming are harmful to horses as the worms and parasites build up an immunity to these chemical products. Let me share with you an effective 100% natural deworming product that I have been using on Ivory Pal and my other horses successfully for the last 3 years. It is Omni Worm Guard Plus with Immune Boost and Probiotics by the Holistic Horse, the gold standard of all natural dewormers. It provides a natural, non-chemical warmer with food-grade PermaGuard fossil shell flour. This keeps Ivory Pal worm-free on a consistent basis, but also contains Immune Boost to help him build a good immune system to assist in warding off disease. In addition to this, it contains 5 very powerful and very necessary probiotics to keep Ivory Pal's digestive system in balance. To keep your horse healthy, purchase Omni Worm Guard Plus with Immune Boost and probiotics. Please visit www theholistichorse.com or call 1-877-774-0594.
Okay, Raphael, on the line we have another great natural horseman, an amazing trainer of horses and people, a true cowboy, winner of the 2007 Monty Roberts Western Equestrian Award, also shows on Dish Network's HRTV, champion of the Super Cow Horse 2009, world champion in the National Rein Cow Horse Association, and winner of the very prestigious Road to the Horse 2009. Welcome, Richard Winters, to the Horse and Friends radio show.
Conrad, Raphael, thank you very much. It's amazing how impressive you can sound when you write your own press releases.
Well, you're well deserving. I'll say that.
Yeah, winning the Road to the Horse and getting the 2007 Monty Roberts Equestrian Award. I don't think anybody could make their own press release for that. So that's pretty impressive. To get those things.
Thank you very much. And we've been excited about this interview. You guys are doing great things on your website there, so we're just tickled to be on board today.
Well, thank you, Richard. Yeah, and our mission of our show is to promote natural horsemanship and improve the well-being of the horse through educating people. So I know you've been working on those two things, natural horsemanship and educating people on how to work with horses. And now your career, spans over 30 years?
Oh, my goodness. Remember when you got to a point in life when you started referring to things in these decade increments?
I know.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Doing something for 30 years, you got to be an old person to do something for 30 years.
We started very young.
That's all I've ever really done my whole professional career, Raphael. I never wanted to be a policeman or a fireman or an astronaut. I just wanted to be a cowboy and a horseman. And so we've just been beating it out of the rock ever since.
That's great. Did you have access to horses at a very early age in your life?
I had limited availability. I was raised in town, and my dad was a preacher. My mother was a nurse, and we didn't have horses. They didn't know anything about horses. But as I mentioned, that's all I ever thought about, which is a little bit outside of the norm. It's normally a girls and horses deal, but I was one of the few boys that just fell in love with horses and the whole Western lifestyle. And so when I was just in grade school, I found a stable that was about 7 miles from my house, and I wore out a lot of bicycles those next few years, pedaling out to this stable and just being the proverbial stable brat, just hanging out and getting in the way and getting in trouble, looking for opportunities to maybe help the old man saddle up the dude horses or clean stalls or anything at all. And that was really my introduction to horses as just a grade school boy. And then in junior high, I begged my way into a job up at a young people's camp up in the mountains below Yosemite, California, and I wrangled dude horses there every summer for the next 4 summers and just gained a plethora of experience there. In high school, I went to a horseshoeing school and became a certified farrier. It was at that time I also had the opportunity to go to work for a horse trainer that really introduced the higher levels of horsemanship to me. And so that's kind of how it all started for me, and I've never looked back.
Now, you're located in beautiful Ojai, California, and it's a great area for horses there. We know where that's located. You're not too far from Monty Roberts and Solvang. We've had him on the show before, too. What's in the water that's so great for horse trainers there?
Well, it's for one thing, if you're doing something outside, we have more nice riding days than about anywhere I think you could go in the country.
Yeah.
So this whole central coast of California is a pretty cool place to ride. And it has been a hotbed of horsemanship for many years. The whole vaquero tradition of horsemanship, the whole cow horse thing came out of California, many, many years ago. And so as you mentioned, Monty Roberts is right up the road in Santa Ynez. The Flag is Up Farm up there. One of our very close neighbors right out of Ojai here is Mr. Ted Robinson, a legendary reined cow horse trainer who has, won more championships in the reined cow horse deal than anybody, I guess, has ever won or probably ever will win. So, a great place to live with some great opportunities to get some good help from some great horsemen.
Tell us a little about, in that area where you are, the Thatcher School for Horsemanship.
I'm Richard Winters. Here's an exercise that I do to help my horse canter depart, to pick up his left lead or his right lead correctly with correct body posture. I'm going to make some figure eights, and this is going to be the center of my figure eight. So this is the marker, the pole that I'm going to shoot for. And it's good to have a frame of reference so that you start making nice symmetrical circles and hit that middle every time. I'm going to canter off on my right lead. Now I've got that pole in my peripheral vision. I'm going to come out here and make a circle. And this is how the exercise works. I'm going to ride towards the center now. Straighten out. Oh. And now I'm going to push my horse over to the circle I was just on. A leg yield. See how my horse is slightly bent to the left? I've got his shoulders picked up. And now I'm in a position to lope off to the left.
Yeah. You know, for about 9 years now, we've had the privilege of being a part of this place, the Thatcher School. It's been here about 120 years.
Wow.
It's a private boarding school for young people that come from literally all over the world. It's a college prep school. And where a lot of boarding schools might have a horseback riding program attached to it, horsemanship is really the centerpiece of what Thatcher School is all about. It has about 130 horses, and every young freshman that comes in, about 70 kids every year, although the vast majority of them don't have horsemanship experience, they're assigned a horse and a stall and tack, and every morning before 8 o'clock, they'll have to have their stall cleaned and their horse fed, and they'll ride for 2 hours every afternoon between 5 and 6 days a week. And then after their freshman year, it's an elective. They can pick up riding terms here and there. But for lack of a better term, they call us their artist in residence. They have a full faculty that run their horsemanship program, and just between you and me, if I disappeared tomorrow, they wouldn't even have to replace me. But I'm kind of a guest here, and I do some special projects for them, a little staff development and some different projects for the kids. And I think they see some value as well of me and my wife when we're on the road and all our travels being kind of their ambassador at large to the horse community, getting the word out that there is a really cool place called the Thatcher School. I guess just like I'm telling you right now.
It sounds wonderful, really.
Yeah, and Richard, what's interesting too is that not only do the kids learn about horse mechanics and how to ride, but most important that they also learn about the horse psychology. And I think that's from what I'm reading here, is a big part of the education. So can you expand on that part, or what is it that the kids are exposed to regarding the horse psychology?
Absolutely. And that's really the difference between a horseback riding program and a horsemanship program. And I think that Thatcher historians might have said that for many years it was more of a horseback riding. In fact, it was an all-boys school for about the first 70 years, and they would just get on and kick to go and pull to stop. But about the last 20-plus years, with the advent of our new head of our horse program that came here 20 years ago, Cam Schreiber, he's a natural horsemanship aficionado himself, and he really bumped up the whole horsemanship game here and helping kids, as you mentioned, get past the mechanics of horseback riding to the psychology of horsemanship. The school recognizes that even if they're not making lifelong horsemen and horsewomen, that they are teaching lifelong and life lessons to these kids about responsibility and keeping our emotions in check and communicating with something that does not relate just like we do. And so there's a lot of value that comes out of the horsemanship program. And we had come and done some horsemanship clinics for them years ago, and I just saw their program and what they were doing and the quality of the instruction. I thought, wow, this is really a cool place. This is a place that I wouldn't mind being associated with. So now they allow us to maintain our own autonomy and run our horsemanship enterprises right out of this really neat place. And then in the summertime, we actually do horsemanship events for the public where they can come and ride with me, and they stay in the Thatcher dormitories, eat in the Thatcher dining hall, keep their horses here, or use one of the Thatcher horses and be part of my program throughout the summer months.
Wow, that's great. You know, I've been wanting to ask you this question because we had Craig Cameron, one of your buddies, on our show, and he was so excited to tell us how he felt when he won the Road to the Horse 2010. And I know you were very excited to win in 2009, and rightly so. Tell us a little how you felt when they announced your name.
Well, that is a really neat event, and if your listeners have not had the opportunity to go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to Road to the Horse, they should take it in sometime. Although starting this next year, the venue is moved. They have outgrown Murfreesboro, and they'll be in Lexington, Kentucky
Yeah, that's
from
what we
this point
understand.
forward, which is
Yeah.
That's right, which is very exciting. But this cold starting competition, you've got to be invited. You can't just sign up and throw your hat in the ring. But if Tootie Bland, the organizer and owner of Road to the Horse, feels like you could bring value to the event, then you're invited to come. And anyone that gets invited to come has the potential of winning it on any given day. You don't get invited if you don't have the goods and have that ability. So there's always great horsemen that come. There's a little bit of a luck of the draw. You never know exactly what kind of horse you're going to get and how things are going to go for you. And in the horse deal, there's always variables and things that are unpredictable. So I just tried to stick with my program over the course of those 3 days and start that colt the way I've started thousands of them in the past. And things did shape up. It worked out well for us. And needless to say, with a sold-out crowd of 6,000 people all cheering and standing at their feet, it's a pretty exhilarating moment.
I would think so.
And so, needless to say, it made the 3,000-mile drive home a lot nicer because I've driven home the other way, too. So it's really fun when you win.
Oh,
It was worth the
absolutely.
drive.
Quite a thrill.
Now, Richard, you've been involved with horses for almost 30 years, but you mentioned that you still have not stopped learning. And most people look at a horse, they say it's a simple, kind of appears like a simple animal. But what is it that they're so enthralling and so deep that it takes almost what seems a lifetime to really fully understand them? It's still a lifetime, it's not enough. What is it that makes the horse such a special and unique animal?
Our brand new Horsemanship Library, Volume 1 and 2, are now available. Each DVD volume contains over 2 hours of information and is divided into 7 separate, easy-to-understand chapters. This Horsemanship Library contains practical information that will help you and your horse reach the next level. Each volume sells for $39.99, or you can purchase both volumes for $59.99. You can find these DVDs at winnersranch.com. Check it out today.
It really is amazing that this thing just goes on and on and on, that you never arrive at that place where, okay, I've got it now. The horse is just always teaching us something more. There's always another level that we can get to. It's kind of like if you were, hiking in the mountains and you see the top of the mountain, I just get there, then we're going to be there. When you get to the top of that mountain, then all of a sudden you see 3 other mountains that you could not see until you got to the top of that mountain. So when I was like 20, it's like, if I just do this, and I'll be the world's greatest horseman. Well, I got to that spot that I perceived I wanted to be and realized, oh my goodness, there's a long way to go. The further you go, the further that there is to go. And so I pretty well decided that since I'm never going to get to my destination of that utopia of horsemanship, I'm just going to enjoy the journey and enjoy what each horse can teach me. And they are all so different. And about the time you stereotype them and say, well, there's 6 or 8 different kinds of horses, one will fool you and one will trick you. And if you're not willing to eat a few slices of humble pie, then you probably don't belong in this business, because they can make you feel like a hero, but you can go from hero to zero pretty quick in this thing. So it's always a challenge, and you just figure that the horses don't have problems. It's not the horse's fault. If they're not getting it, they're just a horse. What are we expecting? But it's my responsibility. How can I present this idea to a horse in a way that he or she can understand? And if you think about it, the allure of horses, what other animal in the world will do for us what horses will do?
Exactly.
If you worked at it, you could take a cow and get a saddle on his back and make the cow go across the parking lot, I suppose. And there's people that have taught a lion to sit on a stand and wave his paw. But when you think about what a horse will do, run his heart out with or do intricate maneuvers with the style and the grace and the symmetry, and just I don't know what compares to it. I think that's what keeps us coming back time and time again, and recognizing there's just no end to this thing.
I can take a hold of him with this, and I can save that bridle.
I'd like to think of it as a partnership.
Let's go somewhere. Don't be afraid of speed.
It's like our dance studio, and this is our partner that we're going to teach them some movements.
Now I'm going to change his body configuration, open up that right-hand side, and ask him to pick up that lead. And he said, whew, thanks, that feels a whole lot better.
And the cool thing about horses, is they are natural followers.
If I could just put any part of my horse's body in any given position at any given time, wouldn't that about solve all your trouble? See, I'm bringing these hindquarters around like this, and then, okay, I'm going to shift my weight and just get a little... Okay, there, and maybe I'll just let that go.
The relationship I have with horses is not just me being the master and them being the slave, and you have to go do what I say because I've got a stud chain on you, or I can make you do this, or I can tie you up.
All they have to do is try.
And you certainly can't outpower them. You can't work harder and be stronger to make it happen. You've got to be smarter about it. You've got to understand the psychology of horsemanship.
But sometimes stuff happens. And when stuff happens, the last thing I want to have to do is go,
Horses are the great equalizer. They don't care who you are or who your daddy was or how much money you have or what kind of house you live in. You either present a good deal to them, you either speak clearly to them and get along well, or you don't.
if I want to pick him up and get more life and more energy, I can do that and get him soft in his face, lope off on my left lead.
And they are so willing, so amiable. What other animal in the world will do for us with the style and grace and beauty what a horse will do for us?
Hey, tell us a little about Hip Adams.
Oh, my goodness, you guys have been doing your research, huh? Hip Adams has been a fun part of our family for the last few years. It's kind of when the right kind of horse comes and you're at the right level to receive what that horse can give you. We've been able to focus more on the reined cow horse industry and showing reined cow horses the last 10 years or so, just with our advent of coming to Thatcher and being around some world-class horsemen that have been able to help us. And so we've been upgrading our horse flesh, so to speak. And a few years ago, we stumbled across Hip Adams that was just a young horse. He'd been shown at the World Championship Snaffle-Bit Futurity and then purchased by some other people. And it was a world-class horse, but still green. And they recognized that just wasn't going to work for them. I had an older broke bridle horse at that time. And by the time it was all said and done, that was a good match for them. And so we just traded. And so we took home Hip Adams, and that was in his 4-year-old year. And in the National Reined Cow Horse Association, that means he's eligible to be shown in the Hackamore for 2 years. And then beyond that, he can be shown in what we call the 2-rein, where they wear a very small Hackamore and begin to carry the sophisticated Spanish-style bridle bit. And then the year after that, they're what we call straight up in the bridle. And so showed that horse with some moderate success over those years. And then I guess it was just in 2010 that he received the highest honor that the National Reined Cow Horse Association bestows on a horse, the Supreme Reined Cow Horse Award, which means that he has won a sufficient amount of money in each one of those divisions, from the snaffle to the Hackamore to the 2-rein and in the bridle. And so for him and I to do that in a partnership was pretty exciting, and I learned a lot. I would like to think of myself as a student of the Hackamore, not a master reinsman. I think there are a few of those guys around, but a lot of people don't understand them. I think they're a little bit scared of them. Sometimes a novice rider says, well, I wouldn't have any control with that thing. And that's true. The horse just run off if all we do is just pull on him, because we don't have the leverage that a bit would give us. But if we can get those lines of communication opened up, there's a balance that comes in a well-made Hackamore and a nice Hackamore horse that if you've tasted a little bit of that, it's hard to go back.
Speaking of treating the horse properly and not yanking on them, again, another past guest, we had someone that Dr. Robert M. Miller, and he's been involved, as I think you have too, maybe you can expand a little on it, the Light Hands clinics. Have you been involved with that?
Yes. That's right. Light Hands Horsemanship was a venue that was started by Dr. Miller, Jack Brainerd, Eitan Beth Halakmi. These gentlemen came together to want to showcase this style of horsemanship where it was not the bigger bit that was going to get it done, or more strength or more power, some mechanical thing, but the finesse and and the refinement that can come from light hands and horsemen that truly understood the psychology of horsemanship. So about 3 years ago, they invited us to be a guest speaker at this event. We were honored to be a part of that and kind of share the reined cow horse tradition of light hands to the light hands crowd. And since that time, they've made me part of the light hands family, which I'm very excited about. It's just a great, great event that takes place up in beautiful Santa Ynez every year in the springtime, and it's set in a very beautiful ranch there to a smaller, intimate crowd. Less than 200 people are there, and they can come and enjoy 3 days of horsemanship, observing all the different horsemen, different styles from dressage to Western and cutting and the cow horse thing, and all of it with the similar thread running through all the different disciplines of the psychology and the light hands of horsemanship. So I would encourage people to check that out. Maybe go to lighthandshorsemanship.com and see what that event's about.
Yeah, and that's a great thing you're doing there, Richard, because I know some of the more traditional disciplines, such as dressage or everything, I think there may have been a little bit of resistance to the natural horsemanship, but I think there's more opening, realizing that all this benefits any horse of any discipline. I know, is that what you're finding, or you think it's going to expand more?
You know, absolutely. And I think if there's one little niche that I have found is with the advent of me going out and competing more and more in the last several years in the Reined Cow Horse Association, I'm dispelling the myth that people thought that natural horsemanship and performance horsemanship or competition on horses were somehow mutually exclusive.
Right.
And I don't think that has to be the case. Just because there might have been some abuses and even are abuses in the competitive world because people are involved in it and people have goals and people put their goals above their principles and we run into problems with that. It doesn't have to be that way. And so I've done my best in my clinics and seminars that I give is to marry the two together to show them how we can take these natural horsemanship principles and apply them on a higher level. And the landscape is really ripe for that because for the last, 20 years with the advent of so many clinics being available and people taking advantage of the educational opportunities that are out there, there are a lot of people that are getting along well with their horse and they're doing good and they've learned a lot of horsemanship principles, but they're kind of saying, what's next? What can I do now? And so they're up on the playing field, and some of our advancing clinics are a great venue for them because we're saying, yes, you can get more performance out of your horse.
Absolutely.
You can step up your game. You can get more refinement and collection. And so we're taking the same principles, we're just ratcheting it up a notch.
Now, a little on a different note, your daughter, Sarah, if I'm correct, is in the family business with you and your wife, Cheryl. I understand she's quite a rider and an assistant, too. Did you teach her from a young age?
Oh, well, she's kind of the proverbial child prodigy. I make the joke, and maybe it's not a joke. They're going to say, Sarah, didn't your dad used to train horses or something? Well, yeah, he just drives the bus now.
Drive the trailer, I pull the horses with it.
Yeah, ever since Sarah was a little girl, that's all she wanted to do was be around the horses and rode all the time. She'd get home from school and ride. And I think she was in junior high, just starting junior high, and I got bucked off and broke my collarbone. I was laid up for a few weeks, and so she went on an independent study program and kept all my colts going for me so that we could stay afloat financially during that downtime, and she never looked back. She stayed on independent study throughout her high school years, did all her work in her bedroom at night, rode full-time with me, would take off for a few months at a time to go do an internship at another trainer's. Then about 3 years ago, she left home for good. She's 22 now. She would have been 19, and she went to work for a world-class reined cow horse trainer here in California. And then Carol Rose Quarter Horses down in Texas got to courting her and took her down to Texas where she trained horses for them for a year. And then just around Christmas time, she decided that I wonder what Dad's doing. And she got to looking at this, the clinics and the expos and more teaching, that maybe that's something that she wanted to get some more experience in. So she's back home in the family business. She's been making everybody else money for a lot of years. Now she can come home and make me some money. But needless to say, it's a lot of fun to have her. She teaches at our clinics now when we do an expo. It's a great father-daughter thing, and so we're just really enjoying having her, and she is quite the horsewoman.
Well, Richard, you sound like a proud papa,
Absolutely.
and evidently rightly so. Is your wife Cheryl? I had a little conversation with her. She's very lovely as well. Is she also a rider? I know she's involved in your business.
Well, yeah, this business would not be afloat if it wasn't for Cheryl, but she would be the first to tell you that horses intimidate her a little bit. And, she rides just a little bit. If I get the nice, quiet, gentle horse and we're going to go on a nice, quiet trail ride where the paths are very wide and there's no drop-offs and it's a nice sunny day and she's not going to get too dirty, then she would go because she can ride. But I tell people, you know what? There's a few things that I can do that she doesn't really want to do. And there's a whole lot of things that she can do that I don't know how to do. And that's why we've been such a good team for the last 26 years. So she runs the whole business. I can't even type my name on a computer. She does all the correspondence with people. And she's gotten very proficient at the videoing and the editing of our TV shows and things like that. So she's just done a great job and enjoys those things. So I feel very blessed to have her on board on this journey that I'm on.
That's great.
And our listeners could find out more information about your clinics and also your schedule here at your website, www.wintersranch.com. And also, you have your program on Dish Network's HRTV going, so you could, listeners could go there and learn more about your training techniques and some of the wealth of information you have on your website. So I imagine Cheryl maintains it too, no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you bet. And if you correspond with us via emails, it might have my name down at the bottom, but you can know that I just dictated it to her. And so I hope that folks will check us out. There's some fun things on our website, and it's certainly our schedule and all our products and DVDs and things and places we're going to be. And so we're always excited to meet new people and go to new venues. That's the great thing about the horse business. It's really, I call it the horse business, but it's really the people business.
Right.
And we've just met some great people over the years. The vast majority of horse people just are great people. And so making those relationships and seeing people grow in their horsemanship and how they're developing has just been very satisfying for us over the years.
Richard, too, I wanted to ask, we've had Madeline Pickens and Roy Rogers Jr. and Tommy Turvey on the show. All of them have been in the Rose Bowl parade. Do I understand that you were also there?
My goodness, you were like a private investigator. I thought that might have snuck under the radar. That was a funny thing that we did. I used to make fun of people that rode in parades, but no more will I do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, but the Rose Parade is huge.
Yes.
It's the largest parade in the world. It happens right here in our backyard down in L.A., and we were associated with the Long Beach Mounted Police Patrol, and so they invited us. They said, "Hey, would you like to ride with us? We've been riding this parade for over half a century. Would you like to ride with us this year?" And, I don't know. And, hey, we'll loan you the silver saddle and the uniform. You just come up with a Palomino horse that you think won't get you killed out there on the streets of Anaheim. And so we went and did it, and it was really an amazing experience.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and I was so impressed with the parade organizers, how they have that thing dialed in. There's over 1 million people that stand there on the sidewalk and watch that thing throughout the day, and it ran like clockwork. It was really amazing. So it wasn't even on my bucket list to check off, but I can now check that off my bucket list. So, riding the Rose Parade, what an experience.
I know you just came from an event to even talk to us here, and we sure appreciate it, and we'll definitely put your website up on the screen as well when we run this, but we sure appreciate all the excellent work that you're doing. You're helping so many people. They're benefiting from your style, your methods. They're drawing closer to their horse. Their horse is a real partner when they follow your excellent direction. And just keep up the great work. Our whole show here is about natural horsemanship and how to treat the horse well, and you have contributed to that greatly. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, well, absolutely. It's a privilege for me, Conrad, Raphael. I was so glad that you guys popped up on our radar. And when I had a chance to go on your website, what neat things these guys are doing. So we were just very happy to be a part of it, and we'll look forward to doing something with you again.
I have to tell, too, our listeners, I was kind of touched by your humility. When you asked me in advance, you said, well, why am I going to be on the show? And if you remember, I said, well, because you're a star, and you chuckled a little bit. And then I said, and then also because you're buddies with Pat Pirelli and Chris
Tommy,
Cox
Trevor,
and Craig Cameron, all of them. I says, you're part of the herd.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'm in some pretty good company. These are great horsemen that challenge me every day to get a little bit better. It's amazing what those guys can do. And so if I'm a little fish in that pond, then I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, you're more than holding
Richard.
your own. You're doing a great job, and keep it up. We sure appreciate it.
Appreciate having you on the show. Thank you so much.
You guys, thanks a million. Take care.
Thank you.
Well, it doesn't cease to amaze me how these guys who are so proficient, they've done it for decades, they're experts at their natural horsemanship, they're humble guys, nice guys, eager to share things that can help people. Richard Winters was no exception to that.
A great guy and very humble, and I think it was very interesting when you started talking about him almost being involved with horses for almost 3 decades. And is still learning, and they all say the same thing. So it is the humility, I mean, you would think most people say, "Oh, it's just a darn horse. How complex can it be?" But I think maybe part of the common trait about the humility is I think they may be innately like that. Richard and the other horse trainers we had, but you wonder
if the horse helps them to be more humble.
So it's kind of interesting. Who's training who, but the fact that they're open to it shows that they are really humble by nature, because so many people have the same opportunity as Richard says, that there is some harsh treatment in the competitive world because the humans are involved. And they have the same opportunity, but they choose not to look at it.
You know what I find interesting too, because it's almost like we've done a study of this, because we've had Pat Pirelli, Monty Roberts, Chris Cox, Craig and Cameron, and others. And what we have found is that they all have their own method. It's not like they all followed one method and said, "Oh, well, this is me." They all came across it themselves, where they found a connection and a communication with the horse, and it's natural, and they got into the horse's understanding, and they get the horse to be their partner with no force. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, absolutely. I also find it very interesting that they say they're not too worried about training the horse. They're more worried about training the human to understand about the horse. So the horse is a pretty simple creature in a certain way. They have no hidden agenda and so forth, but every horse is different.
Well, that looks like another really good show. I'm sure the folks are going to enjoy it very much, as we did.
Oh, absolutely. We enjoyed talking with Richard.
Yeah. Ivory Pal, the champion Tennessee walking horse stallion, as you've never seen him before. Now available on DVD. The Golden Pegasus with his own original theme song, Born to Fly Higher. 'Cause you were born to fly higher. The DVD comes with 4 brand new videos. One with his own music video, Running at Liberty, and then featuring animation with him flying. Another video with him performing at night in an open-air arena choreographed to his own theme song. A third video is accompanied by an instrumental version of his song with beautiful photographs of Ivory Pal along with his partner and trainer Raphael Valle as they play together in a creek. And finally, something everyone would like to see and experience: a day in the life of Ivory Pal. Yes, this video takes you on a trail ride and shows you what it's like getting ready for it and then washing down after a hot summer afternoon just outside Nashville, Tennessee. There's also a special surprise where Ivory Pal goes inside the house and sees himself performing on TV. Order yours now for only $12.50 with free shipping and handling direct from the Horse and Friends radio show page on NashvilleNewsZine.com. So folks, thanks for tuning in, as they say, and be sure to be watching for our next episode coming soon.
Until then, happy trails, everybody.
Hey, Raphael, I bet you can't do this.
Horse and Friends Radio with Conrad and Raphael.